Hey guys, it's Meteor Kaiser here, jumping back into another challenge. And this time we're going to go back to the world of Pokemon and we're going to go into Black and White. I decided I wanted to do a medium difficulty run. I consider this a medium difficulty run. This is, can you beat Black and White, or in our case specifically, can you beat Pokemon Black with the 3 elemental monkeys? Now, the rules for this run are pretty simple. It's just, we're only allowed to use the elemental monkeys, which are Pansage, Panpour, and Pansear. Now, I will add this on. I can evolve any of these guys at any time that I want. It's just I'm going to try my hardest not to. The later on in the game I can do it, the better I'll feel about myself, essentially. That's what we're going with here. Besides that, everything else is free game. I also am allowing captures of other Pokemon, so I can have HM users, essentially. Because I'll need someone to cut down trees and someone to fly, strength, all that type of stuff. I'm going to keep the exposition a little shorter on this one, and we're just going to jump right into the challenge. You know, I feel bad because this is the one Pokemon region where I do not remember any of the names of the towns. Well, it's pretty much 5 and onwards. I don't remember any of the town names. So, we start out in our starting region, I guess you could say, where we're able to pick our starter. So, I've slightly modified the game. So the choices are not your normal Tepig, Oshawott, and Snivy. Instead, I was given the options of the 3 monkeys. I decided to go with Pansear at first because I thought having a fire type would be nice for the early game bug types, and Pansear is just one of the stronger ones in my opinion. So this game we're going to have a lot of rival battles to get through. So starting off, we go through our 2 initial rival battles of Bianca and Sharon, destroying both of them pretty easily. Once we sort of do all of the basic beginner stuff, we jump into Accumula Town, where we have our first run-in with Team Plasma. Getsis is giving a nice little speech, and we get introduced to a mysterious trainer known as N, who battles us with a level 7 Purloin, who doesn't give us too much trouble. Just as we're about to leave Accumula Town and move on to Station City, we first run into our mother, who, by the way, best mother of the franchise. Anyone who says otherwise, you're wrong. Just plainly wrong. And second, we have our second rival battle against Bianca. She has a level 6 Lillipup and a level 7 Snivy, who really aren't a problem for me. I lose like less than half of my health. Once we arrive in Station, we actually go to the trainer school where we fight Charon, who actually destroys us on the first attempt because he has an Oshawott who has Water Gun against... So it's a level 8 Oshawott against my level 9 Vulcan, which I nicknamed my Pansear. So knowing that I wasn't able to beat him, I decided, oh, why don't I get my second monkey? So I went towards the Dream Yard, Dream Field, Dream something or other. One of the girls towards the end of the route give you the elemental monkey that's supposed to help you with the gym battle. So say for example, if you chose Tepig, you're weak to water, so they'll give you Pansage. So that's sort of what it was in this situation, except my Tepig was a Pansear. So I was given a free Pansage, who I named Mirrodin, which is Merlin's sort of other name, in case you were wondering why I named it that. And now that we have Mirrodin, we completely destroy Charon. We make our way through the gym. And of course, this gym is very, very mean, because there are 3 gym leaders, Cress, Chili, and Silent. You don't have to fight all 3 though. You only have to fight the one who's strong against your starter. So for us, that would be Cress. Now Cress has a level 12 Lillipup and a level 14 Panpour. Thankfully though, with Mirrodin, we're actually only able to barely make it through the fight. Vulcan gets taken down by the Lillipup, and Mirrodin just barely survives with 7 HP, so it was a close fight, but we made it through. After cleaning up the rest of the Dream Yard, we make our way over to the next city. Now, along the way actually, we run into a little kid who had her Pokemon stolen by Team Plasma, so along with Charon, we go to completely demolish the few Plasma Grunts that are in the cave there. After that, we're able to just move our way into Nacrene City. And this is the point in the game where things get a little bad for me. This area was very, very strong. So by this time, my Pokemon are all like level 14, 15. And that's what all the wild and trainer Pokemon are in Nacrene City. Or I should be specific and say the Challenge Rock area south of Nacrene City. Thankfully though, this game is extremely broken. If you sort of know about the Audino strategy, Audino is a Pokemon that gives a crap ton of experience when you battle them, and they're very easy to come across. All you have to do to get an Audino to spawn is run around grass areas for a while until you see some grass rustling, then there's a high chance that you'll run into an Audino. There's a low chance that you'll run into sort of a rare Pokemon for the route, but most of the time you'll run into an Audino. And they'll give a lot more experience than what you get for fighting a regular Pokemon. So say for example, I get 100 experience from fighting these wild Pokemon, and the Audino gives me about 300 or 400. So it's definitely worth the investment. After leveling up a bit more, I finally gathered the courage to go take on the Nakreen City gym. Now, most of the trainers in the gym didn't give me too much of a trouble. There was this one girl with a Herdier, which I had to heal spam out, and it was awful. And then we move on to the gym. Oh my lord. Alright, this gym fight was just the worst. So, Leona, right? Leona has 2 Pokemon. She has a level 18 Herdier and a level 20 Watchog. Now, normally when you're fighting a gym leader, the scary Pokemon is his ace, which in this case is Watchog, but both Pokemon were terrifying, right? So this Herdier knows Work Up, which is bad enough because Work Up is an insanely good move. What Work Up does is it increases your special attack and your attack by 1 stat. So it'll use Work Up. It has Intimidate, so it'll drop your attack. And it has Takedown, which pretty much one-shots both of our Pokemon, which is really bad. So I go back for more Audino training. I'm pretty much only using Murden in this fight. The reason I'm pretty much only using Murden is because Murden has Seed Bomb, which is a base 80 power move for Grass type, and I have a Miracle Seed, so it's just completely insane. And it also has Leech Seed. So with the Leech Seed, I'm barely able to live a Takedown, and I'll just Super Potion spam until eventually I knock down Herdier with an occasional Seed Bomb and the Leech Seed damage. Now, Watchog is a little bit easier for a weird reason, right? Watchog's gimmick and this gym's gimmick is the move Retaliate. Retaliate is a move that does more damage when a Pokemon is fainted last turn. So in this case, say for example, the Herdier, I just defeated the Herdier. Basically, it's going to do more damage to me than it would normally, and it's still like a base 70 move for a normal type with Stab, which is still pretty gross. What I do is I sack off my Vulcan, my Pansear, and just let him take the damage. Then I switch back over to Mirrodin, and I do the same sort of strategy. The good thing is, though, he spams Retaliate, and Retaliate does a lot less damage. So with Stall, I'm able to beat Watchog. Next up is Pinwheel Forest, and nothing too exciting happens here, except for me forgetting that I get my last monkey here. So if you're doing just a normal run through, this is where you get 2 of your last monkeys. But for me, since I edited the game and got a starter monkey, I'm able to get Panpour by himself here. Now this was a pain, because what you have to do is you have to do the Audino trick, right? You have to wait for Wrestling Grass, but there is I believe it's either 10 or 15%, no, it's 10% chance that each of the monkeys will spawn. So you got a 30% chance to get one of the monkeys, and only 10% to get the one you want. Now I got super unlucky. I ran into 2 Pansages, 2 Pansears, before I ran into 1 Panpour. So I was there for a good 20 minutes. But we were able to do that and get through into Castelia City. Castelia City is a pretty big place, and it's got a lot of trainers scattered around, so make sure to go ahead and use that to your advantage to get a bit more experience. The gym, compared to the last one, oh, it was so easy to get through the Castelia City gym. Berg was a complete joke. Pretty much everything died to Vulcan, who at this point has Flame Burst, which is a base 70 power move. It's not as good as Seed Bomb, but it's still pretty darn good, and it's bug type gym, so this is easy pickings for me. After that, we have another rival fight with Bianca. She's got a Herdier, a Munna, a Panpour, and a Servine. Thankfully though, all of her mons are like 8 levels lower than ours. We're pretty high level right now, which is pretty nice. Anyway, we make our way north and go through the desert resort and desert area just to give a bit more experience to our new party member, Nep Nep, which if you get that reference, I'm sorry. If you don't, just don't worry about it. But Nep Nep's strong move compared to everyone else's is actually my favorite of the 3. It's Scald. Scald is a really good move if you don't know what it does. It's an 80 base power move that burns. It's water type. It's really good. It's one of the best Gen 5 moves of all time. Easy. But anyway, once we're in Nimbasa City, our next area, we run into N again. And N's sort of gimmick is he'll capture Pokemon from the previous area and use it in battle. So his team's pretty easy. He's got Sandile, Sigilith, and Scraggy. So easy for us to take care of. Now we move on to the Nambasa City Gym, which does give me some trouble. The trainers themselves aren't too bad. I have to heal between each fight, but that's not that big of a deal, especially with the power of super speed. Now on my first attempt against Elisa, I got very unlucky. She crit me with one of her volt switches. So her gimmick is she has 2 Emolgos and a Zeb Striker. She pretty much volt switches every single turn, just to be like, hey, this is my gimmick move. It's pretty cool, right? My only Pokemon that can really stand up to this gym is Vulcan, because the Emolgas are flying and electric, so they cover both of my grass and water monkeys. So my fire monkey is my only option. So what I have to do is I have to work up the first 2 turns, because Volt Switch does just under half. I'm able to live 2 Volt Switches, so I'll work up twice and then just try and sweep from there. Zeb Striker was a little bit better because I used Pansage to help deal with the Zeb Striker. Once we got going in the fight and the workups went off, it was pretty easy from there, to be honest. I pretty much just was able to flame burst everything, and it didn't take too much effort after that. After we defeat Elisa, we move left and we run into our next rival battle against Sharon this time. And he's a joke, so we take care of him. We get introduced to Alder, who is, I don't know if it's explained at this time, but he is the champion of this region. We move into Driftvale City, which, if you listen to this right now, it's probably playing right now, it's the single best music in the game. Like, this generation, the main reason I love Gen 5 so much, the music's just godly. It's just so good. Driftvale, we have to go through the cold storage area, which is in the south, to sort of deal with some Team Plasma grunts. Thankfully though, we got our fire monkey, so that's not really difficult. After that, Clay gives us permission to go into his gym, and he is a ground type gym, so I use a combination of Nep Nep and Mirrodin, my water and grass monkey, to deal with each of the Pokemon. The Excadrill was a little scary, and it did almost kill me, but almost is pretty much good enough. What a shocker, as we're leaving Driftvale, we have another rival battle, this time against Bianca. None of these rival battles are scary, like at all. She has a Musharna now, which is pretty cool, but it's not scary. We make our way into Chargestone Cave, where we are given the best item in the game, the Lucky Egg. Now, the Lucky Egg boosts experience gain by 1.5 times, so yeah, it's pretty nice. The cave is pretty long and tedious. There's a lot of Team Plasma grunts, a lot of just trainers in general, so it takes me a while to get through it. But at the end, we have a battle with N, who has, again, Pokemon from the cave. Like Clink, Joltik, that type of stuff. We are now in Mistralton City. Mistralton City, I guess. I think that's what you would call it. I have this one random trainer in the north that just gave me so much trouble. It was a rotation battle. And I don't know why it gave me so much trouble, but I think it's because of how I started my battle. I just went back and refought him. Right now it's pretty nice because we're about 5 to 10 levels above every other Pokemon, especially with the Lucky Egg. It's pretty nice. But before we can challenge the gym leader Skyla, we have to make our way through I think it's called the Celestial Tower. Not really 100% on the name, but the thing in the north, the ghost tower in the north. She wants us to ring a bell at the top, and we make our way through there. After we ring the bell, she lets us fight her, essentially. We just go back to the city, make our way through the flying type gym. Now, this is a little bit annoying. I got wiped out on my first attempt because, would you guess it, I got critted. On our second attempt, everything went a little bit better. First off, our first Pokemon, Swoobat, was very stupid and just kept spamming Amnesia. I just kept biting it. Now, Swanna was essentially a battle between my Water Monkey and her Swanna. And I did manage to pull off a Leech Seed before my Pansage died though, so I was able to get health back each turn, hoping not to get critted. I was just spamming whatever move I had. Scald, Bite, I just had to use whatever I had. In Pheasant though, not a problem, but that Swanna just gave me a lot more problems than I thought I would have. After taking care of Skyla, we make our way north towards Twist Mountain, where we have another Charon rival battle. And this one went a little bit scarier. The Unpheasant did a lot of work on me, but the Dewott and the Simisear were pretty easy to take care of. And plus I can heal as much as I want to, so the battles themselves aren't terrifying. Anyway, we get Surf with that, which isn't good because Surf in this gen is a 95 power move, and that is beautiful. So Nep Nep's power is up even higher. We make our way through Twist Mountain, and we actually get mollywopped by this one guy who has a throw. He just destroyed us on the first attempt. We go for our revenge match, get through the cave, and make our way to Icarus City. Now again, we have another very easy gym leader. Bryson's not a challenge for me because he's an ice type gym leader. And I have, on my Pansear, I have Fire Blast. So while it's not the highest PP and it can miss a lot, it does a lot of damage. Though the Cryogonals do give me a lot of trouble. Cryogonal has a good amount of special defense. More than I thought, to be honest. After defeating Bryson, we're tasked with going to do a bunch of Team Plasma quests. Sort of, it's that point in the Pokemon games where you're sort of getting into the main bit with the villain. So first we have to get through Dragon Spiral Tower. The only challenge there is we have to defeat 4 trainers in a row. Not really that much of an issue. Then we have to go back to the Desert Resort and make our way through Redlick Castle. Pretty easy. After that, we're tasked with going on to the next city. I'm gonna pronounce this so wrong. A Supalid, something, a Pusalid, something. I don't know the name of it. But anyway, this is the sort of dragon city in the game. And before we actually reach there is a nice little store, a big department store where we're able to buy my favorite items, X items. You'll know why later. So I actually flew back to Icarus City because it has Blizzard in one of its stores, and I wanted to teach Blizzard to Nep because I need some sort of way to deal with these dragons, because all 3 of my Pokemon, fire, grass, and water, are all bad against dragon types. While dragon types aren't super effective against them, it's just not very damaging. But anyway, this gym was awful. Each of the trainers gave me so much problem. I had to heal after almost every fight, and on purpose I waited out a few times just so I didn't have to go back and, you know, get out, get in. So in Black version, you fight against Drayden, and Drayden actually wasn't as bad as I thought he'd be. His Pokemon are 7 levels lower than mine, which is nice for 1. And 2, I have Blizzard. Blizzard is able to one-shot both of his fractures, even though it missed 1 shot, but he has a tendency to want to go for Dragon Dance, which is fine by me. It's scary if it gets off. Like, this Haxorus was able to get off 2 Dragon Dances, I think. We Leech Seed him first, and then I sort of stall him out with the rest of my monkeys. So eventually we get through. We have one last rival battle with Charon, which ended up being a little bit worse, but still nothing too bad. We're in the Victory Road, and I love Victory Road in this game. It's really nice. Victory Road is pretty easy to get through, unlike some gens. Gen 4. Anyway, we make our way through Victory Road, and we are here. Elite 4 time. Now, boy, oh boy, is the Elite 4 a doozy in this game. So I tried against Chantel like twice or 3 times, something like that, to try and beat her. I wasn't doing any damage. I barely got through 2 of her Pokemon. So I'm like, alright, screw it. I got this far. It's fine. So I do the dirty, and I evolve all 3 of my monkeys. So now I've got a Simisear, a Simisage, and a Simipour. I know I probably could have gotten away with just doing one of them, but it's go big or go home, you know? And we got big. My stats went up exponentially with my evolution, and now Chantel's Pokemon were not a problem to deal with. Next up, we move on to Grimsley, who I use a combination of my mons. It's nice. It's nice to be able to use everyone. Vulcan's there for a nice bit of acrobatics usage, dealing with the Bisharp. Mirrodin deals with the Liepard, and Nep deals with the Crocodile. Everyone on my team has Crunch, so Caitlyn is not a problem to deal with, so I just crunch the shit out of everything. If one of my monkeys die, go on to the next one. My monkeys are about 5 levels higher than the strongest Pokemon at this point, so I'm at least doing pretty well. Marshall gave me some problems with his Sock, but the rest of his mons, even the Conkeldurr, wasn't too bad. Anyway, we're supposed to be fighting against Alder next, but guess who shows up to ruin everything? It's our boy N. He summons his castle out of nowhere, so we have to deal with the 7 sages, but we get help from the gym leaders, and that's what I really like about this game, is how integrated the gym leaders are into the plot. It's not just, oh, you beat me, I'll never see you again. No, it's like, you beat Clay and he shows up here. It's like, really cool. I like the idea. I think the only one that doesn't show up here is Leona and the first and second gym leaders, essentially. So we make our way through N's castle, and eventually we reach N himself. Well, before we reach N, we have to deal with Reshiram. And I didn't actually know that you have to capture Reshiram, because if you defeat it, it's just going to be like, oh, Reshiram's waiting for you. So unfortunately, we have to capture Reshiram. So technically, I have a full party of 6, which is kind of funny. Anytime I'm forced to use Reshiram, I'll either swap out or I'll just let him die, one of the 2. So I'm not actually using him in battle. And there have been a couple of situations throughout this game where I've left a few Pokemon in battle. Not by choice, like my Tranquil and my Patrat. But as long as I'm not using any attacking moves, as long as they're not hurting the enemies, that's all that matters to me. So it's a little bit of a loophole, sure, but whatever. Anyway, N is pretty easy. His Zekrom gave me a bit of problems, but Mirrodin took care of it. I pretty much keep Mirrodin in against all of his Pokemon, actually, now that I think about it. I'm just like, Seed Bomb everything. Now, Getsis. Now, Getsis gave me some problems. So, Cofagrigus is another Pokemon that we ran into with Shanto. Cofagrigus is a pretty damn good Pokemon. It's very stally. It has the ability Mummy, but I do... so what happened on my first run was I got Toxic stalled, and I almost got through him on the first attempt, but the Hydreigon took care of me at the end. On my second attempt, though, things went by a little bit better. Instead, I started out with Vulcan and just crunched the shit out of him. Bouffalant went down pretty soundly to Mirrodin. Now, my strategy for this was also scummy. So, Mirrodin had a Rocky helmet on, right? This Bouffalant loved to use Head Charge. Head Charge does recoil damage. So, I would Leech Seed, and it would take me down to almost kill me. So, I just Hyper Potion spam until eventually the Bouffalant killed himself. Now, Hydreigon was the Pokemon that I was able to set up on, surprisingly. Now, I had a bunch of X specials, X attacks, X defense, whatever. And I started spamming X special defenses on the Hydreigon because all the Hydreigon could do to my Nep was Dragon Pulse and Focus Blast. Now, the Dragon Pulse wasn't too bad. I was just worried about getting critted. I spammed X specials and X special defenses. And once I felt comfortable with not having any damage taken to me, I just Blizzard. With that, I was pretty much able to just clear off the rest of his Pokemon pretty easily. His Bisharp, his Seismitoad, and his Electros. And with that out of the way, we just straight up win. We talked to Ed one final time, and we'll be like, I've accepted you. Hey, I'm not going to destroy the world anymore. And then we get shown the cutscene, the ending cutscene. Credits, whatever. So this challenge, right? I wish I probably could have figured out some way to go through it without evolving my monkeys, but I didn't want to spend another like 4 hours just trying to grind up my monkeys to insane levels. I tried doing that a little bit in Victory Road, but it just wasn't working out very well for me. And I'm like, I said from the start I would evolve when I needed to, and it's an elemental monkey challenge, not Pansage, Panpour, Pansear. But anyway, this is a really fun challenge to do. I only ever used the monkeys when I first played this game, because it was like, hey, we're giving you this monkey to help you beat the first gym. After that, it was like, I'm not using this thing again, because they're not great, but they're a lot better than I remember them being. The Simisear, Simipour, and Simisage are decent mons. They're not amazing, but they're good enough to get you through a game with a bit of help with the X specials and X defense and all that. But I wish they learned more moves, which is the one thing that sucked, because after level 18, when they got their good moves, they pretty much didn't learn anything else good. They learned Crunch at 43 and their good move at level 18, and that was pretty much it. After that, it was like, you're on your own pretty much. So I wish they learned more moves, but overall, it was a pretty fun challenge. I quite enjoyed this. I would definitely do this again, and I would recommend anyone else to give this a shot. This one's probably going to be a little bit shorter, but thank you guys so much for watching. My name has been Meteor Kaiser, and if you have any other questions, any suggestions in the comments, go ahead and let me know. Any ideas for challenges. I have some in the works, but I'm sort of like, some of them are like, these are cool ideas, but I'd like something cooler, if that makes sense. Like, they're not very innovative. So if you guys have any good suggestions, go ahead and let me know in the comments. That'd be really appreciated. Thank you guys so much. Once again, I've been Meteor Kaiser, and as always, peace!